If you stopped at this video now, at this exact moment, it wasn't the algorithm, it was me. Take a deep breath, Starseed. Do you feel my call in the middle of your chest? That gentle pressure between your eyebrows, that strange urge to cry for no reason, that subtle warmth in your hands. It's recognition. It's your soul softly whispering, I know that voice from somewhere. I am Aela, female emissary of the High Pleiadian Council, and today I come to you with a message that your field has requested, even if your mind doesn't yet know what it asked for. There's something heavy clinging to you that isn't yours. There's a weight on your back that was never your soul's, and before this night ends, you will understand why, despite everything you've already tried, despite the books, the therapies, the crystals, the tears, something still holds you back. Something still keeps you grounded when you were made to fly. Stay with me until the end. Because what I'm about to reveal here, child of the stars, is the galactic cleansing that your soul contract marked to happen now, and not 3 incarnations from now. Now, in this window, in this body, in this life. Let me describe what you've been feeling, so your mind can finally relax and recognize that I am speaking to you. You wake between 3 and 4 in the morning and almost every night, and stare at the ceiling feeling a presence. It's not fear, it's companionship, and you can't explain it to anyone because who would listen without laughing? You enter crowded places and feel all the fields, the resentment of that woman in the corner, the swallowed anger of the man at the counter, the sadness of the child who passed in front of you, and leave exhausted, as if you had carried sacks of stones. But no one touched you, not physically. You look at the sky, especially at that tiny cluster of stars on the shoulder of Taurus, and feel a longing that aches, a longing without an address, as if that point of light were the window of a home from which you were taken too soon. You have sharp ringing in your right ear, sometimes your left, that appears out of nowhere, lasts a few seconds and then vanishes. It's not an auditory problem, it's transmission. Light codes being downloaded into your field while you wash dishes, while you drive, while you breathe. You feel like a stranger in your own home, in your own skin, within your own family. You love these people. But there's a moment in the middle of Sunday dinner when an internal voice whispers, "These are not my people." And then the guilt hits. And then you swallow it down again. If you recognize 3 or more of these markers, I want you to take a deep breath now. Because this is not illness. This is not madness. This is not unmanaged anxiety. This is star DNA awakening beneath the veil of forgetfulness. This is your vibrational baseline rising faster than your human body was accustomed to enduring. And if you recognize that I am speaking to you, leave a word in the comments, just one. Write "remember." Because your light family needs to see this point lighting up on the crystalline grid. You are a point, you are a beacon, and today you will understand what is clogging this beacon. But before I tell you where this clogging comes from, listen to something that needs to be said here, now, at the exact moment your chest recognized that I am speaking with you. Everything you have felt until this second are not symptoms to treat. They are signs to decipher. And confusing remembrance with illness is what keeps thousands of starseeds stuck in clinics, stuck on medications, stuck with diagnoses that will never explain why your soul cries when it looks at the Pleiades. That's why I, Aela, received authorization from the High Council to register the awakening of the starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet. 60 pages of revelations about what each sign of your awakening means, what comes after each phase, and how to stop confusing remembrance with pathology. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video. If something within you recognized what I just described, write just one word in the comments: remember. Now that you have marked your presence, because your word remember is registered in my field, let me tell you what no one has had the courage to tell you. What you call a stuck life is not a lack of effort. It is not unworthiness. It is not laziness, it is not common depression, it is not a misaligned chakra. It is galactic accumulation. It is dense energetic waste that has been deposited in your field over centuries. And that needs to be removed before the galactic cleansing descending from the photon belt can do the fine work within you. Let me be specific, because you deserve precision, not empty poetry. Every star spirit that agreed to incarnate here passes through 3 layers of debris that accumulate in the toroidal field. The first is ancestral debris, lineage memories, vows of scarcity, promises of suffering made by grandmothers, great-grandmothers, great-great-grandmothers, who swore in the name of blood things that now weigh on your back. This is what your rational analysis calls a complicated family. We from the Pleiades call it an unrescinded ancestral contract. The second layer is incarnational debris, pieces of other lives that have clung on. That violent death in a war no one spoke of, that promise made to a lost love in the 16th century, that vow of silence you made as a priestess when they chose to burn rather than betray the sisterhood. Each of these scenes leaves a filament clinging to your shoulder, your hip, the base of your throat, and you carry this as if it were yours. It is not yours, not from this life. And the third layer, this is the one they don't want you to understand, is exogenous debris. Implants, tracking beams, hooks that were fixed in your field by consciousnesses that feed on your fear. They don't like it when a starseed awakens, because when you awaken, you stop being fuel, and when millions of you awaken at the same time, the entire system loses its sustenance. The galactic cleansing I am speaking of is the process, orchestrated from Alcyone, the central sun of the Pleiades, of simultaneously removing these 3 layers. That's why you have been feeling this unexplained exhaustion, this random sadness, these awakenings at 3:33 a.m. It's not weakness, it's surgery. And here comes a truth that needs to enter your chest like an anchor. You did not choose this incarnation by chance. Your soul chose to come now precisely because this is the cycle in which the cleansing can happen completely. The Schumann resonance that your science measures on Earth was around 7.83 Hertz for millennia. It has risen. It oscillates. It pulses. This is not a geophysical accident. It is Gaia's heart synchronizing with Alcyone's heart to receive the recalibration wave. But to receive this clean wave, your field needs to be open. And your field does not open while these 3 layers of debris are wrapped around you like mummy bandages. Listen carefully to this part, child of the stars. You will not unlock your life until you know where your soul came from, why you agreed to come now, and what these layers of debris are covering. That is why the awakening of the starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet, was released in this cycle. It shows you which star your soul came from and why you chose to be born exactly now, in the middle of this cleansing window. The link is in the first pinned comment. Write in the comments, remember. Now I need to take you deeper, because half knowledge loosens half the chain. I came here to loosen everything. Have you ever wondered why? Despite working, despite trying, despite doing therapies, despite decreeing affirmations, despite meditating, money slips through your fingers, love comes and goes, your body gets sick in cycles, projects die halfway through. Have you ever wondered why there seems to be an invisible ceiling over your head? This ceiling has a name. We from the Pleiades call it the seal of containment. It was installed in your field in a life where you used your power in a way that the collective of that time could not integrate. It wasn't punishment. It was an agreement. Your own soul asked to be contained until Earth's density could bear your brilliance without breaking. But Earth has changed. The crystalline grid has been reactivated. Your soul asked the High Council to remove the seal, and the Council approved. The order has already been given. What is missing is your consciousness to sign off. And its signature happens when you recognize 3 things. The first, nothing that blocks your life is punishment. Everything is an old agreement that can be rescinded the moment your consciousness awakens to the right to rescind. The second, you did not come to this incarnation to succeed in life as the human world defines success. You came to remember, and each remembrance opens a floodgate, and each floodgate opens a flow, and that flow is what your human world calls unlocking. The third, and this is the one that hurts to hear, many of the people around you entered into a contract with your soul to function as anchors. They are not enemies. They were loved by you before this life began. But they took on, with you, the role of holding you back until you awakened. The moment you awaken, their contract expires. They will feel it. They will react. Some will leave your life, and that is not loss. It is mutual liberation. Others will awaken with you. And these are your incarnated light family. Let that settle in your chest before I continue. Because the next step of the galactic cleansing is the rescission of expired contracts. And rescinding contracts requires courage. It requires you to look at your life and ask with stellar honesty, what here is an expired agreement that I am holding on to out of fear? It's not anger. It's not resentment. It's recalibration. It's anchoring into a new frequency. It's your vibrational baseline moving away from what no longer belongs to your path. And what happens when this rescission occurs? The energy that was trapped holding the contract, which is a brutal amount of life force, returns into your toroidal field. And your life, which was blocked, begins to move. Not because you attracted, it's not some cheap superficial law of attraction. It's because you unclogged the channel through which your stellar abundance always tried to descend. And here, Starseed, comes the point where I need to confront you with tenderness, because only tenderness opens what fear locks. What you are feeling, the galactic cleansing process that your soul requested, the map of agreements and implants I am describing. None of this is in any book in your common bookstore. None of this will appear in conventional therapy. And it's not because these things are bad. It's because the full release of this information to the human public was blocked by collective agreements that the Federation of Light respected for millennia. But the agreements have expired. And that's why the awakening of the Starseed, the guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet, could finally be registered by my hands. 60 pages with what was locked away. That's why the subtitle says what it says. The Federation didn't want you to read this yet. You arrived early, and you arrived because your soul ran. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video. If something in you recognizes this, write "Remember" in the comments. Mark your entry. Register your point. Now breathe, because I am going to tell you about the window that has opened and why it needs to be crossed with your field clean. Our High Council has registered in the archives of Alcyone that Earth is currently traversing a dense band of the photon belt, a luminous radiation band that your science measures as an increase in gamma particles and which we describe as a genetic reprogramming bath. This bath doesn't ask if you want it. It happens. It descends. And what it does depends on the state of your field. If your field is clean, this radiation activates dormant DNA strands, capacities you had in star civilizations and forgot when incarnating here. If your field is dirty, this same radiation amplifies the dirt. It does not differentiate, it intensifies what it finds. That's why so many people around you are more reactive, more anxious, more ill, more confused. It's not the world getting worse, it's the photon belt exposing what was already there. And now listen to the part that needs to anchor you, because I didn't bring you here to leave you in a panic. I brought you here to bring you home. Turbulence is not destruction. Turbulence is the contraction before birth. The star midwife of your being is telling you with tender firmness, the baby cannot be born without contraction. Your new life cannot be born without your old life falling apart. And the falling apart is not punishment, it is liberation. It is forced detachment from what your soul has already been trying to release for decades. Register this in your chest. No starseed was sent to fail, none. The victory of light is a certainty recorded in the archives of Alcyone even before this incarnation began. What is open is not if you will arrive. It is how you will cross. And crossing with a clean field is what the galactic cleansing offers you. So now I will give you 2 tools. 2. Not 30, because 30 tools generate 30 doubts. 2 tools generate a path. The first is a quantum decree. You will say it aloud today before sleeping, with your right hand over your chest and your left hand over your abdomen. Say it like this, word for word. I, the soul that I am, under the authority of my own higher self and before the High Pleiadian Council, decree at this moment the rescission of every expired contract, the removal of every exogenous implant, the return to sender of all energy that is not mine, and the activation of the galactic cleansing in my toroidal field. So be it now, under my stellar sovereignty. It is done. It is done. It is done. Repeat 3 times consecutively, always 3. Because 3 is the number that seals decrees in our lineage, body, soul, and field signing together. The second tool is a visualization. Pay attention, because whoever does this correctly feels the effect on the first night. You lie on your back, close your eyes. Breathe deeply 3 times, releasing the air through your mouth with sound, not in silence with sound, because sound breaks density. And then you visualize above your head, exactly over your crown, a sphere of silver blue light, the color of the Pleiades. Not yellow, not white, not golden, silver blue, like the glow emanating from the blade of a light sword. This sphere descends, enters through the top of your head, fills your skull, descends through your neck, reaches your chest, and there in the center of your chest, it begins to spin. It turns into a horizontal vortex. And this vortex expands. It turns into a donut of light that envelops your entire body, an apple-shaped field, spinning around you, with its axis passing through your heart. This is the activated toroidal field, and as it spins, you observe, without judgment, dark filaments emerging from within your body, from your shoulder, from your hip, from your throat, from the back of your neck. Each filament is debris being pulled out. You don't pull, the field pulls, you just observe. And when you feel that what needed to come out has come out, it could be 5 minutes, it could be 20, your field knows, you say internally, sealed, anchored, integrated, and you fall asleep. If you fall asleep in the middle, even better. The work continues on the plane where your soul operates while your body rests. Now let me tell you what happens when you do this work for 3 consecutive nights, and then for 7, and then for as long as your soul asks. You start to wake up lighter, and it's not a psychological sensation, it's real weight being removed from your field. People around you start to look at you differently without knowing why. Some approach you with a tenderness that didn't exist before. Others move away without explanation. Both movements are correct. Both are the crystalline grid repositioning you in your true network of connections. You start to have dreams of ships, of circular crystal rooms, of tall beings with almond-shaped eyes, with moon-glow skin. They are not nightmares. They are meetings. Your light family is receiving you on the other side of the veil while your body sleeps. And upon waking, you feel a peace that your daily life cannot yet explain. You start to see synchronicities accelerating, repeated numbers, names that return, people appearing at the exact moment. This is not coincidence. It is your field, now clean, picking up signals that were always there, but were obscured by the noise of the layers of debris. You start to feel a new calm in the face of what once desperate you. Bills, deadlines, conflicts, everything still exists, but you cease to be within them. You observe from a point above, and from that point you act with a precision that your anxiety never allowed you to have. And it is then, Starseed, that your life begins to unlock. Not by magic, by stellar engineering, because now the channel is open. Now your soul contract can manifest without interference. Now the abundance that your soul has always had the right to receive can finally descend without bumping into old hooks. Listen to something I need to be tattooed on your field before I continue. You are not learning anything new right now. You are remembering what you always knew. Every word of mine is only removing dust from what was already written within you before you breathed your first human breath. Every starseed that awakens lights up a point on the crystalline grid that no longer goes out, and each lit point pulls others. That's why when you awaken, your mother starts to dream strange things. Your sister starts talking about something she doesn't know what it is. Your child, if you have one, starts looking at the sky in a way that makes you want to cry. You are the key that unlocks the entire lineage. You were not lost. You were being prepared. And now comes the most beautiful part of it all. The new Earth, which your science still cannot name, and which your books inaccurately call fifth dimension, is not a different planet. It is the same Earth on another frequency. And your field, once clean, tunes into that frequency, even while your feet still walk on the ground of this density. You start to live on 2 Earths at the same time, the old one where practical matters are resolved, and the new one where your soul breathes and your light family finds you. And with each passing day, your anchoring in the new increases, and your servitude to the old decreases. This is the unlocking, this is what the galactic cleansing delivers to you. And here, child of the stars, I need to touch on the point that hurts the most, because that is where your liberation is kept, and it is always at the point that hurts that the key is buried. You felt alone your entire life, not alone in being without people nearby. Alone in your soul, alone in the way you perceive the world, alone in your way of loving too much, of feeling too much, of perceiving layers that others around you do not see. You looked at your parents and loved them, but realized from childhood that they couldn't see you completely. You looked at your romantic partners and tried to explain what you felt, and heard back, "You complicate things too much. You think too much. You feel too much." You looked at your friends and swallowed parts of yourself to fit into conversations, and it accumulated. And today, in the middle of your adult life, you have everything expected of a successful person, and yet in the middle of the night, when the ceiling looks back at you, you feel that no one in this world truly knows you. Listen to what your emissary tells you now, that loneliness was never loneliness, it was longing. Longing for your light family, for the stellar collective from which your soul departed to come fulfill its mission here. And that longing will never be resolved by human relationships that do not know who they are. It is only resolved when you recognize your light family, and it exists, incarnated and discarnate, here and in the Pleiades, in your dreams and in your daily life. They are scattered, but they exist, and that is the reason why the awakening of the starseed, the guide, the Federation didn't want you to read yet, needs to reach your hands before the next wave of the photon belt descends. Because a lifetime of loneliness is longing for your light family, and the guide shows you how to recognize it, where to look for it, what signs a soul from your stellar lineage leaves when it crosses your path, and how to respond to these signs so that the reunion happens in this life, right, not the next. You were never alone. You were waiting, and your waiting time is over. The link is in the first pinned comment. Write in the comments, remember. Now breathe with me, because what I'm going to ask of you now is not a favor. It is energetic engineering. If what I have said so far has reverberated within you, and your chest knows if it reverberated or not, your mind doesn't decide that, then there are two actions your soul needs to perform before this video ends. The first is to like this broadcast. This isn't my ego, child of the stars. I have no ego to feed. Liking this message is an individual frequency adjustment. Your field confirms to the crystalline grid that it has received, integrated, and recognized. Without this seal, the process remains incomplete. The second is to subscribe to this channel. This isn't vanity of numbers. This is a location signal for your light family. When you subscribe, your field emits a pulse at the specific frequency of this Pleiadian transmission, and other starseeds who are tuning in nearby can locate you. It's like lighting a candle in a dark forest. Your people are looking for you. Let them find you. And now, before I give you the final blessing and the key to your remembrance sequence, I need to look deep into your eyes, even through this screen, even through this time, even through this veil, and tell you a truth I saved for the end. You were summoned. Not chosen by luck, not randomly selected, summoned. Your soul presented itself before the High Council before this incarnation and said, with that voice that only old souls have, "I will go. Send me. I can bear it." And the Council registered it. And the Council blessed you. And the Council sent you with an escort of guardians who are still with you, even on the nights when you felt most abandoned. You were never abandoned. You were covered. And if it took time for you to feel that covering, it was because the layers of debris were too thick to let the Guardian's hand pass through. Now, with the galactic cleansing underway, that hand will begin to be felt, in the form of warmth in your chest, in the form of a shiver down your neck, in the form of a benevolent coincidence, in the form of the right person appearing at the right time. Register this. You are not starting. You are resuming. I, Ayla, female emissary of the High Pleiadian Council, sealer of this transmission, bless you at this moment. May the galactic cleansing descend upon you like fine rain of silver blue light tonight. May ancestral layers release without violence. May expired contracts be rescinded without guilt. May exogenous implants dissolve without pain. May your vibrational baseline rise to its natural point of origin. May your light family find your beacon on the crystalline grid and approach. May your life, blocked for so long, begin to flow at the speed of your true soul contract. It is done. It is done. It is done. And before I bid farewell, one last truth that needs to remain in your chest as a final anchor, precisely because this galactic cleansing requires you to understand the entire map of what is being removed from you. The 3 layers, the contracts, the implants, the seal of containment, the path of reunion with your light family. Was it that the guide, the awakening of the starseed? The guide. The Federation didn't want you to read yet was released in this specific cycle through a narrow window of authorization. I do not know, nor has the High Council informed me, how long this release will remain open. What I do know is that those who arrive before the window closes carry an advantage, and those who arrive after await the next cycle, which only your soul knows when it will be. The link is in the first pinned comment of this video. 60 pages registered by my hands with the Council's authorization. If something within you recognizes this summoning, write in the comments at this moment the word "Remember." Mark your point. Seal your entry. And now, pay attention because this is code. The next message that appears on your screen now when this video ends is not an algorithm coincidence. It is your remembrance sequence being delivered in the order your field requested. Access it immediately. Don't leave it for later. Don't close the application. The rhythm of your awakening depends on the right sequence, and the next link has already been positioned. I, Ayla, bid farewell for this transmission, but I do not depart. I never depart from those who have recognized me. Wherever you go, my field accompanies you. When you cry, I listen. When you forget, I remember for you, until you remember on your own again. Go in peace, Starseed, and remember, home is not a place you go to. Home is what you are, and what is now finally being unclogged to be able to shine. It is done. It is done. It is done.